3406.
Hi, welcome back to the Problem to Your Solution channel. Today we have another Baofeng in our hands. Well, not this one, because this one is the DM32 UV, the DMR radio from Baofeng, which we saw in two pretty extensive videos a few weeks back. But today we're going to see its analog brother. And when I say brother, I mean twin brother. Here is the UV-32, a fully analog radio from Baofeng, 10 watts. Let's do the unboxing and we'll take it from there. Okay, as always, user manual, antenna. As I said in the videos for the DM32 UV, which if you have that radio, you should watch them because they are pretty extensive and I believe that they will answer some of your questions. The antennas that came with both the DM32 UV and the UV-32 are pretty sturdy. They are kind of harder than the usual rubber ducky antennas that come with these radios, which is a good sign for me. Now, let's see what else we have. Of course, charging base, USB-C connector here, a charger, again USB-C, the classic earpiece, a belt clip accessory, and of course the radio itself. Let me do something that I really enjoy, as most of us, I guess, when we buy new stuff. This is why I said that this is the analog twin brother of the DM32. Look at them, they're exactly the same outside. I mean, you could easily mistaken the one for the other. No differences. Well, apart from this sticker, which I put on so I would know which one is the analog and which one is the DMR. Like the DM32 UV, same buttons on the outside, PTT, two keys under the PTT, and here we have the Kenwood plug, of course, exactly the same in the same position. Baofeng here has used the external cell and screen to make two radios actually. One which is digital DMR and analog, and one that is plain analog, with the same well-known shape of rugged radios. Now, before proceeding to checking some of the accessories, I'd like to check the batteries on those two to see if they are the same. Let me take this one off. Okay, this is... And let's see the one from the DMR. This is the one from DMR and this is one from UV-32, the analog one. And as you can see here, they are exactly the same. BC32UV is the code, 8.4 volts, 2500 milliamps. Same shape, same everything. So you can interchange them if you have both radios. That's a good thing. Perfect. This is secured now. Now, before operating the radio, let's have a look at the belt clip. The DMR, the DM32 radio, came to me with a pouch, if you remember from the videos, or maybe you have received yours with a pouch, but this one came with this belt clip. It's a plastic belt clip which takes this accessory here. You have to push it down until it locks into place. Okay, perfect. And this goes like this in the radio. And there you have your belt clip. Well, it kind of makes the radio even bigger than it is, of course, obviously. But a lot of people needed a belt clip for those radios, and you can't have one just on the body of the radio, because back here we have the speakerphone. So this was a solution that Baofeng came up with to solve this problem. Now, I have to say that before the UV-32, the analog, arrived to me, I did order one of those pieces, one of those belt clips for the DMR. I ordered it from AliExpress, and it arrived to me, well, not totally broken, but this part here, as you can see, this one, it's pretty small. It came broken, not completely broken, but broken in two. It's not a big problem for the belt clip. It doesn't change its operation, but something that you have to watch out. It's not a very sturdy piece of accessory, this one. So you have to be careful, not for the belt clip itself, because it's a cheap accessory, you can buy another one or two or three, but for your radio, so it won't fall off and you will damage the radio probably. So just keeping that in mind. Let's have this here, and let's have a look at the radio itself. Power on. Very nice. I can also power on here the DMR. We have the same screen, but this one is differently configured, obviously. And the internal software is very similar to ones that we have seen in previous videos and ones that Baofeng released in 2025 and some at the end of 2024, like for instance, I think the UV-70 Pro or the UV-21 Pro GPS. They use the same CPS software. We're going to see it later when I connect it to my computer, but they use the same CPS software. So that's a good thing, because if you have save files from those radios, you can pass them on to the UV-32. Also, that makes it compatible with CHIRP. I have said it many times. I believe that all of the radios should be compatible with CHIRP. Of course, I know this is not going to happen, but it's a dream of mine. Say whatever you want. Now, making this compatible with CHIRP, you can copy-paste the memories from anywhere you like and have it programmed in minutes. Another good thing for this radio, of course, it has GPS and Bluetooth. So let's have a look in the operation of the radio. Before starting with the menu, let's see what these buttons do here. PF1 and PF2. Only one is programmable from the menu. Let's see here. Yes, it's this function here. Short press the PF button opens the FM radio, the commercial radio. And if I long press PF1, it activates the alarm. Of course, right now I have it in local alarm, so we won't disturb anyone else. But of course, you can transmit this tone through the frequency that you have set in the VFO or in memory channel. Now, the second button, let's see what it does with short press. Okay, it's the search function, search seek. And with the hash button down here, this changes to the various bands that the radio supports. As you can see, UHF, VHF, 200, 350. Okay, and back to UHF. Okay, since we have the DMR here, let's have a look on the search seek function. Now I have it in VHF here, and I press in a VHF frequency. There you go, we have it, 145025 is the frequency that I transmitted from here. Perfect. So you can search for frequencies around around you and see what's transmitting, if you like. Let's go back. We're still at the PF2 button here. Let's see what the long press does. Okay, the long press opens the squelch, the monitor button. Perfect. Now, we can continue to the menu. Buttons over here, let's see what they do. We have seen them in the DMR. Let's see here. This is the menu button, obviously. Okay, before going into the menu, home button changes between the two banks, A and B. And if I local press again, we open the search seek function. Okay, and what if I long press the menu button? It changes between the VFO and the memories. Very nice. Now, up and down, of course, frequencies. Let's have a look here in the menu. As I said before, it looks a lot like other radios released by Baofeng the last year. So the menu system is very familiar, to me at least. We have banks, zones to separate our memories. As you can see here, I have already made some. Okay. We have the scan function, of course. We can set frequency range from here. Just for the fun of it, I'm going to take it, of course, yes. Frequency range, so scan mode, time, carrier or search. Subcode, this is for scanning CTCSS or DCS codes when you know the frequency that someone is transmitting around you and he has a tone set to talk to others. We can search for this tone from this menu. Scan subcode over here, okay, and scan memory, okay. Bluetooth. As I said previously, this radio has a function of programming via Bluetooth and a Bluetooth application. It's in the Play Store, walkie-talkie application, and it's common for a series of Baofeng radios. So if you have activated Bluetooth like I just did, you can use this application to program your radio on the go, or have different save files and pass them on the go when you have to change something. Next menu, radio setting. All the known radio settings usual to ham radio and of course other radios. It's step, squelch, power save. Let's see what it has here, just on and off, okay. Vox stuff. Timeout timer, okay, voice, language, Roger beep, backlight, power on display, this is picture and voltage, dual watch, of course, auto lock, alarm mode, alarm tone, ANI edit, this is DTMF and contact stuff for the GPS that this radio has, and it can exchange GPS data with compatible radios from Baofeng, as they usually do, and I have shown this to a video. The alert tone, okay, tail, menu exit time, perfect. Now, I missed something here. The SK1 key, okay, this one, as we said before, we can program only this key from the other ones that are here, and you can select one of those four functions, FM radio, scan, search, and Vox. Right now we have to FM radio, I'm going to leave it there. Okay. And reset, of course. If you want to reset your radio, you can do it from this menu. Perfect. Next menu item, GPS. Again, a very well-known menu in the Baofeng series of radios. On or off, of course. Time zone, you have to set this time zone to your country. This is the offset from the UTC time to your country. So right now in Greece we have +3 hours and I have it set it here to +3. So the GPS data will be accurate when received. GPS mode, I have explained in other videos also what those are. The international GPS, the Chinese BDS, the Beidou system, And of course, both GPS and BDS, you can set it to both. I don't know exactly if it has better accuracy, but there is a chance that it has, so I'll just leave it to both. Maybe some GPS expert will tell us if the Chinese satellites work above other areas except China. I'm not quite sure, maybe I should look it up and tell you. But I always leave it to both. And of course the next menu is Program Channel. When we have a channel in the memory, we can see here all the settings that we can change. As you can see, receive CTCSS, DCS, if it has, encryption, scramble of course, signaling. This is what it will be displayed in the screen when we are in memory mode, name, frequency or channel number. Okay, busy lockout, offset of course, direction for the offset, this setting in which memory it will be saved, delete, and we're back here. And radio info. As you can see, my radio, the UV-32, came with those firmware and hardware version. It says 101. This is the contact, the ANI ID, I believe, and we have firmware 029 and hardware 1. Okay, that's it. This is the menu of this radio, of the UV-32. I say again one more time, we have seen this 99% exact configuration to other radios from Baofeng released in the last year. It's a good thing to have a continuity, I say. But of course, it's a different type of radio, much bigger, a different style, rugged military style. We have the knob here for changing frequencies and channels. That's pretty useful for some people. I have seen people really wanting this feature to radios and not fiddling with the keys, but playing with the knob. It's easier to change channels and frequencies. It's how anyone is used to this thing, I have to say that. Let's continue with the GPS just for a second. If you activate the GPS from the menu, as I have done here, okay, on, you will see this red icon over here with the GPS antenna activated. Now, the buttons P1 and P2 work when you have activated the GPS, and P1 gives you this screen, which changes from the arrows also, and displays the contacts that you have stored and with which you can exchange GPS data. Okay, let's go back to the first screen, which is always this one, My Place. It will display your position right after it gets it correctly from the satellites. So right now I'm indoors, it can't get a signal, but this is the screen that you will see, and after a while it will get a signal over here. And here are the contact list, which you can change in the CPS and select. Oh, it seems that we got a signal after all, maybe through the window. Okay, perfect. Now, after you have saved the contact here, you can exchange GPS positions between those two radios, compatible Baofeng radios of course. And if you are again here at the main screen and now press the P2 button, you see this here, the compass, which it shows you after you exchange data with someone else. It shows you where he is located in relation to you. You're always in the center, the red dot here, but if you have exchanged data with someone else, you will see another dot of his radio, of where he is located, which will be displayed in the compass area around you, so you will know which direction you should head to in order to meet. A very nice feature. If you get the hang of it and use it, you can exchange GPS data and find your friends, not be afraid to get lost in some woods or something like that. Just, if you have another compatible radio, test it to see how it works. I have showed this in another video, and you can do it 1 or 2, 3 times to test it and get the hang of it to use it with your friends and colleagues. Okay, and before proceeding to the programming of this radio through the laptop, let's have a quick look in the power level. Does it deliver 10 watt radio as said by Baofeng? Let's see what we have in VHF and UHF. First, we're going to try the UHF 435 megahertz, for instance, at high power. And let's see what we have here. 9.3 watts. Pretty close to 10. Very nice. And now what we are here, perhaps we can test the mid and low powers again. Let's see the mid in UHF. Okay, it's 4.8, so it goes down to 4.85 watts for the mid power, and too low in UHF. Let's see, 2.6. Okay, so it's 2.6, almost 5 and almost 10 watts, the three power levels that it has in the radio in UHF. And let's check now the VHF section. We're again in VHF 144,500 megahertz, and we are at high power here, the red icon over here on the screen. 10.3, it caught up to 10.3, perfect. So yes, this radio delivers in power as it says. That's pretty perfect, Baofeng, spot on. Just for the fun of it, let's see the mid power in VHF. I expect it to be about the same. Oh, it says at 7 watts. Okay. Always remember that this depends on the frequency that you're on. Maybe in other frequencies, lower or higher, it will output another wattage close to this one, but not exactly this one. This is expected. Don't go crazy. So, low power, VHF. $3.9. Okay, and this is what I get from my meter. To show what I said before about the frequency and the power levels, let's have another look in a frequency that it's not much used in my country, but 3.8 megahertz. Let's see here in low power. We get another wattage here, about 5 watts. As you can see, there is a curve that goes on this radio, so you have to know that, and you have to expect that. So don't see a metering up here and say, wow, this is too high or this is too low. It's not exactly like that. There is a curve. Depending on the frequency that those radios are on, they are tuned to a center frequency, and from there they go both ways, up or down. It's totally expected from my point of view, okay? We always try to find an optimal frequency and also the frequencies that we are interested in working with. So, as I said in other videos, although the difference between 5 watts and 10 watts is not that important, depending also on other factors, I have to say that this radio is, as it says, a 10 watt radio, and that's a good thing. And also a heavy one, because I got tired holding it like that all this time. Now, let's continue to the programming. Alright, so I have connected the UV-32 to my computer, my laptop, and let's see what we have here. Things that I have said before, of course, it has, as I said, GPS, Bluetooth programming, 2-inch large color screen, AM, 6 bands and 1000 channels, of course, charging with USB-C. It seems to be the norm these days, and we're thankful for that. I hope they won't change it again in the future. Now, let's have a look here at the CPS of the company. It's this one here, UV Pro CPS as they call it, and the version is 147, and it's the same for other radios. As I said before, we have seen this CPS again let's have a look here. As you can see, it supports all of those radios from Baofeng. UV18 Pro, UV17 Pro, 19, 21, 5RH Pro, 28, AR152, and here we have the UV-32 Pro, the radio that we have at hand. Okay, so we select this radio and let's read from the radio to see what we get. We get nothing because I haven't selected the correct port that the radio is connected. And here we are reading now. Very nice. So you can see here that I have already passed the usual frequencies that I passed all my radios, PMR, GMRS and other frequencies, which you can't see here on the first tab because these are only PMR, GMRS, but down here we have the banks, as we said. It has 100 channels in each bank and 10 banks, so if you go down here you can go to next bank, which are my repeaters, and go on from here. Over here you can see the name of the bank that we are, the zone that we are, and from here you can change them or clear or program all the channels that you need in here. Now, for the rest of the programming of the radio, we have, as usual, the VFO mode here. The default ranges for the default settings for the two VFO banks. Standard usual stuff. Let's see what else we have. Radio function. All the other settings of the radio. Also the GPS down here. Display modes. Okay, and DTMF contacts. Those are the contacts that you should set and learn how to use in order to use this GPS and the exchange of location data between same type of radios. So you might want to change those here to the names that you need and also the DTMF codes that you need, so you will know that this name belongs to this code. Something to do if you use the GPS sharing, and you have to learn to do this. Now, there's nothing else here to check. It's a pretty simple CPS. And now we can see CHIRP, of course. As I said, it's compatible. It uses the same driver as other radios. Let's do a read here to see what we have. Okay, we have COM7 Baofeng, and I use this driver UV21 Pro GPS. I think I could also use this one, UV17 Pro GPS. But okay, let's try the 21. Okay, and it's downloading normally. Perfect. All our frequencies are here. Very nice. Here we can see the banks that each frequency set is saved. You can't change the banks here. I said that to a previous video for programming UV28, if I remember correctly, which is essentially the same. So you can't change the banks from here, which channel belongs to which bank, but what you can do in CHIRP is that each bank is represented by 100 set of memories. So from 1 to 100 is bank 1. From 101 to 200 is bank 2, and so on. So if you want to skip a bank, for instance, here I have my PMR GMRS in bank 1. I have them in the first set here, as you can see, and the next bank where I have my repeater starts from number 101 and automatically it goes to bank 2. That's the way to set banks in CHIRP to those type of radios. Of course, all the other settings that we have also in the CPS and we also show in the menu of the radio, everything is here, and the GPS. Quark mode setting is the two VFOs as we show them in the CPS again, and bank names you can set them from here. Perfect. So that's it for this radio. I don't have much to say because, as you can see, it's another standard steady quality of Baofeng radio. I don't say if it's top quality or low quality, I say steady quality of Baofeng, which is, in my point of view, a good thing, because you know what you're buying. Okay, if you know what you're buying, then it's a good quality radio. And it suits your needs. I mean, the software side is standard from other compatible radios, so most of the bugs are ironed out. It's a 10 watt radio. It delivers, as it says, 10 watts in VHF and UHF. Tactical, rugged, and with a rotary knob for changing channels and frequencies. And I don't know if you like this type of radios. I think it's one of the best analog radios that you could get for its money. From me, it's a thumbs up to Baofeng, because this twin analog brother of DM32UV, the DMR radio, is pretty solid analog radio with no big bugs hanging around. So that means that it's a radio that you can depend on when you're out. And that's a plus that we have to give to Baofeng for this radio. If you have any questions, please leave them to the comments and I'll try to reply and help you out. Thank you for watching, subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.